Boudiccan Destruction Layer. Bit of a weird episode name.
Yeah, just a bit.
But it does tie into something that happens in this chapter, particularly John Smith teaching history to his pupils. And is that where the chapter opens, Josh?
Yes, it is.
Right, so John Smith is teaching history to his pupils, and of course is teaching about Boudica, the Celtic warrior woman, and almost kind of berates a pupil about whether what Boudica did was right or not. And it kind of turns into a bit of a shouting match, and John Smith comes out with a revelation that, of course, the pupil doesn't know whether what Boudica did was right. No one does. No one has all the facts on the story, and there is complexities to what Boudica did, including putting people's heads on spikes, I think is something that she did. And yeah, there are complexities there, which means what she did is both wrong and right. And that's most of what I remember from the chapter. Josh.
Yeah, okay, I'll carry on then. So at the end of the chapter, Tim goes to speak to Mr. Smith and gives him an apple, and then says about his strange dreams and how that's meant to remind him of them. It's a bit weird, and this may come back as a future plot point, or sort of something like it. So the headmaster of Rosscastle hears John from outside and sort of congratulates him on being normal, sort of like not being weird how he suspected.
Yeah.
And asks him to help with the OTC, which is the Officer Training Corps.
Yes.
So Benny and John meet up outside the pub, and Benny has a list of things to not let the doctor do. So this is like.
So the doctor gave.
I don't know whether this is probably the point where we should say that.
Yeah, we should probably mention.
John Smith is the doctor.
Yeah, John Smith is a version of the Seventh Doctor. Yes. The Seventh Doctor has basically, it seems, lost all of his memories, and this is really something we're left to we're left to make sense of in the story. It's never handed on a silver platter to us, which I kind of like. It's never told straight up, oh yeah, John Smith is the Doctor, until around this point in the story. And at this point, you really should have worked it out. And if you haven't, well, shame on you, I suppose.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a list of things to not let the doctor do. I did write them down, so I'm going to go through them.
Oh, go ahead.
Commit suicide.
Yes.
Because why would he want to do that? Do physical harm. Eat meat, which is important. Eat pears. Never eat pears. Leave the area because doesn't want him to wander off. Get involved in social political events. That'd be a problem.
Yeah, that'd be.
Hurt animals.
Yeah.
Develop an addiction, or anything impossible.
More or less. So.
Nice, he's got a soft spot for owls, though.
Animals.
Owls. Animals come at especially owls.
Oh, I don't know.
Owls are very good. Owls are nice. I like owls. Owls may. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, I said. Hello. Can
Hello?
you hear me? Have
In
I
this
cut out?
scenario,
Hello?
you're cutting out again. Your green
Ah,
circle disappeared, so I gathered you'd stop talking. I
ah,
wanted to try and carry
that's,
on the conversation.
that's well, it seems I cut out to you and you also cut out to me. I said go ahead. So I don't know if you said what you were going to say or not.
What? Well, I'll just go from where I thought I was where I was.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's been referred to at this point, but so Benny is kind of masquerading as John Smith's niece.
Yes. Back to the idea
So
of versions of the Doctor that have nieces.
yes, Peter Cushing's Doctor.
Yes.
Anyway, so she talks about her father, John's brother, going to Gallifrey, which is apparently in Ireland.
Yep.
And John alludes to developing feelings for Joan or something like that.
Yes, it is kind of real that John definitely has feelings for Joan.
Yeah. So, and then that's sort of the end of their conversation.
Yeah, more or less.
So Benny notices a man staring at her from across the pub garden. So she tries to get away, but he stops her and basically pretends to be the 10th Doctor.
Well, it's a bit soon to say pretends. So the 10th Doctor is talking to Benny. I like the idea that this is the 10th Doctor. I like the idea that they would bring a character impersonating a future incarnation of the Doctor that hadn't been seen at that point in the series. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that they would do that. But
yeah. Anyway, so he wants the data pod that basically at this point we're led to infer made the 7th Doctor lose his memories. But Benny realizes that it's not the 10th version of the Doctor, because the Doctor's a vegetarian and he mentions not eating. He mentions a bird eating contest.
yeah. Also, the 10th Doctor has a companion, a very young girl, about the age of Amelia Pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually, no, we haven't got to that point yet, so I won't discuss that. We're
Oh,
not going to get there for a while.
She has a red balloon. That's kind of the defining feature of her.
Yeah. So, no, go on.
Yeah. But Benny slowly works out that this is not the 10th Doctor, this is someone impersonating the 10th Doctor. When she sees the companion eating a bird, just plucked a bird out of the sky and is eating it. I think my memory is correct on that.
Something like that,
yeah. And that's not right. That's just wrong. So she tries to run away.
Yeah. So she gets chased through the field.
Yeah,
and she's sort of by the two people
who definitely aren't the 10th Doctor and Rose.
Yeah, definitely. So she falls into she goes into some sort of ditch, and basically takes her dress off.
Lovely jubbly.
And the young girl's balloon goes after her.
Yeah, the balloon is sentient.
Turns into a face hugger.
Yeah, the balloon is sentient and goes to smother Benny.
Yeah. So she pops it on
a hedgerow, I think.
Not 10th Doctor's sword or something.
I thought she popped it on a hedgerow.
Yeah.
No, it was on his swords.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because I mentioned the sword earlier. But yeah, so she pops it on that, and the girl sort of
mourns.
feels it. Yeah.
mourns for the loss of the balloon,
Yeah.
who obviously
So-
was
And seems
sentient.
to have suffered physical injury as a consequence as well.
Yes.
Yeah, she also suffers. Yeah. So Benny gets away
Hmm.
and runs into Mr. Hodges, who sort of takes her home.
Yes. Very dismayed by the fact that she is almost naked.
Much as a load of people in the bar that then come out to basically attack her attackers.
Yes, that was nice of them.
Mm.
And that basically ends this particular chapter. After that fight scene. Do we get anything between Joan and the Doctor in this chapter?
Just at the very beginning, I think.
Oh, I
No,
think we skipped
nothing.
that.
No, there was nothing between the Doctor and Joan.
Chris, are
He
you all
goes
right?
straight from the classroom with Ross Castle to meeting Benny
Yeah.
at the pub.
Right, it sounded like Chris was a vacuum cleaner for a second.
It's my laptop fan.
Anyway,
Oh dear.
so final thoughts? Should we go through that?
Yeah, sure.
If there's
Josh,
nothing
final
to
thoughts.
cover? It was a good chapter. It sort of gave an insight to Benny and John's relationship and why they knew each other.
Yeah.
Gives you a bit more insight into the school life. And is the first real part where the story develops some sort of stake.
Yes, it's the first chapter where the Albertines actually come into contact with Benny and the Doctor.
Yeah. So I'd give it overall another 7 out of 10.
Cool. Christopher, thoughts and rating?
Yeah, it's so all of a sudden everything escalated very quickly at the end.
Hmm.
I mean, that was quite unexpected, especially given sort of these premises of like you kind of assume. I guess I was about to say you kind of assume from the get-go she'd have known that it wasn't the Doctor because something would have seemed off, but then she never really. She always, well, I mean, having said that, she did think it was the Doctor anyway, so that's kind of a moot point. But I'd say a solid 6 again.
Cool. I think it did well to escalate the conflict between the Albertines and Benny and the Doctor. I think it was a great fighting scene, and I think it was good at portraying the relationship between Benny and not just John Smith, but also her relationship with the Doctor as a whole. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And that moves us on to the fourth.
The final thing for the week.
Yes, the fourth main
Yeah.
chapter.
The fourth